These days, language lessons often leave children restless, trapped in stiff chairs, their minds wandering as dry grammar drills, buzzing like static in the air. But what if learning a language felt less like a chore and more like an adventure? By using dialogic reading, we can make learning a fun adventure for the students. But first, what is dialogic reading? Dialogic reading is a teaching method of shared reading where students and teacher can have a conversation about a book. One of the major factors of why we believe that dialogic reading is fun is the books that one could read. And using picture books can heavily improve young children's language development when practicing the usage of language. As a result, dialogic reading using the appropriate book can significantly improve a child's reading, speaking, and interaction with other people. 7’s and Whitehurst during 2003 implied that using picture books can heavily improve young children's language development when practicing the usage of a language. As a result, dialogic reading using the appropriate book can significantly improve a child's reading, speaking, and interaction with other people. The result from an experiment that was conducted by Ergun Yorbakan in 2023 shows that children that were taught with dialogic reading showed better improvements in their academic values and had fun whilst doing so, compared to the group that were taught using traditional methods. From our personal experience, when we asked the children what book they liked from all of the previous dialogic reading sessions through a questionnaire, the results told me that they prefer the book that has more illustration in the story compared to the previous book, which only has simple drawings. The second factor is the participation that dialogic reading can bring for the children. From Lepola et al. In 2022, Sadova and others in 2019 showed that students' frequency and quality of talk in middle school classrooms were shown to contribute to literacy learning. We believe that children could actively involve themselves and participate more in dialogic reading sessions if we were to use the two methods that are currently available for dialogic reading, which is the peer and crowd method. 7’s and Whitehurst in 2003 have stated that the techniques of dialogic reading have been used and studied to find out its effectiveness, and it's been indicated that dialogic book reading had positive effects on the oral, language, and emergent literacy skills. Now, what is the peer and crowd method, you may ask? Well, peer stands for prompt, evaluation, elaboration, and repetition, in which students can learn from and with each other, taking on the role of teacher and learner. Prompt, which you would use to ask a question to the students for them to respond. Evaluate is to evaluate the answer that the student gave. Expand is used to either explore the answer or to correct their errors. And finally, repetition, which is used to ask the students to repeat a certain word to check their pronunciation. We then use crowd to expand on prompt, which has completion, recall, open-ended, WH question, and distancing. And an example of completion would be something like asking the child to complete the sentence, whilst recall would be asking the student about what happened previously, whilst open-ended question would be, well, an open-ended question, such as, what do you see in this image? WH question would be used to ask the 5W and 1H question to the students, and finally, distancing as a way to ask the student if they relate to the scenario. Prompting children to engage with a book through specific types of questions and prompts, which then became the evaluation, expansion, and repetition of the peer method. It is a learning loop. Peer is used to start crowd, which is then used to complete peer. As a result, using the crowd and peer methods can help with children's developmental skills and keep their attention to the teacher. The third and final factor that I believe is important for the children having fun are the teachers. I truly believe that teachers are a crucial element when it comes to dialogic reading. Not only do they have to be good at communication, but also have a good adaptability, interactiveness, and presentation. Lapola and others in 2022 stated that both children and teachers' behavior in dialogic reading can be better understood from the bidirectional point of view. That is to say that it is not only the prompt made by the teacher, nor the resources of the child that determine teacher-child interaction, but rather the interplay and the transaction between the teacher and children that are important. To sum up, the interaction between the teacher and child is important for the children to be engaged. But that is not the only element that is needed. The teacher's presentation is also important. You should hold the book like it's magic, turning each page with purpose. If it's slouched or hidden, little eyes may wonder, but present it just right and suddenly the story comes to life. Then, you also have to think about your personality or your expression and tone. In my experience, it is paramount that you are conscious of what faces that you are making, as the atmosphere of the session can change dramatically with your tone and expression, ensuring the children stay engaged in the story. In conclusion, I strongly believe that these three are the main factors that make dialogic reading a fun way for children to learn a language, not only from the books, but also to the methods, as well as the teachers. They are the big factors in dialogic reading. Now, since more people are starting to know and learn about dialogic reading, let's use dialogic reading more frequently and teach in a new, fun, and effective way. Thank you for watching.